Hello from the Bureau. As we start this week with a heads up ahead of extremely hazardous surf and tidal conditions along the central and southeast Queensland coasts. We may even see some impacts extending to far northern New South Wales. However, the focus initially will be a little further north in Queensland, where the state as a whole has copped more than their fair share from Mother Nature this summer. This week, we're looking at dangerous surf and high tides with the potential for beach erosion and inundation of low-lying areas in the southeast later in the week. It's all thanks to Tropical Cyclone Omar in the southwest Pacific Ocean. Omar is currently being monitored by the Fijian Meteorological Service as a Category 2 system way out to the east of Australia, around 1,600 kilometres northeast of Brisbane. It's tracking to the west of Fiji with potential impacts for northwestern New Caledonia on Tuesday. Most forecast scenarios currently keep Omar outside Australia's area of responsibility, but there is a chance that we may see it move into the eastern Coral Sea from Wednesday. And at this early stage, we're keeping an eye on any potential impacts for Norfolk or Lord Howe Island, depending on how it moves later in the week. Regardless, Omar will flex her muscles from a distance, whipping up large waves and heavy swell for the mainland. Enhancing conditions this week will be king tides along the Australian coast, regardless of any weather systems in the area. As winds blow out from Cyclone Omar and push those large waves towards the Australian coast, we've already issued a hazardous surf warning for areas extending from the Capricorn right down to the Gold Coast waters, with strong currents developing and seas increasing from late Tuesday. Wave heights will continue to rise through the second half of this week, possibly to near 5 metres along the southeast Queensland coast from late Wednesday. King tides will peak on Wednesday morning, but as they combine with large waves and heavy swell from Cyclone Omar, we're likely to see water levels above the usual highest tide of the year. We expect to issue a severe weather warning tomorrow for abnormally high tides developing south of Sandy Cape on Wednesday morning and then persisting into Thursday and Friday morning as well. One of the most dangerous aspects this week will be the heavy swell, which we expect to develop along Fraser Island and the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coasts from late Wednesday onwards. The swell, which interacts with the large waves expected, is also what we call long period swell, where we'll see around 13 to 15 seconds between each swell peak. This means that each peak carries with it much more energy and packs a much larger punch than if the peaks were closer together in time. Together, the waves, king tides and heavy swell will make for extremely dangerous conditions along parts of the coast. There's a real risk that as conditions peak later in the week, we'll see significant beach erosion and inundation of low-lying areas along the coast. So even though weather-wise, the forecast at this stage is for a very warm and mostly sunny week, water conditions will be very dangerous. Stay tuned to forecasts and warnings from the Bureau this week as they're updated, and a lot will depend on the eventual movement of Cyclone Omar to our east. Please follow all advice from emergency services and Surf Lifesaving Queensland.